Does the universe have a beginning or is it eternal?
Okay, I think we're ready na, Ilo. Tama?
Yeah, I think so. Pwede na naman. Sige.
Okay, let's start. So
Simulan mo.
welcome again, everyone, and welcome to the round table. I will be your moderator for tonight's discussion. So tonight we will only have a discussion, not a debate, and our speaker would be God of Wisdom, and together we will be exploring a topic regarding the origin of the universe. Does the universe have a beginning, or is it eternal? And God of Wisdom will give us his insights regarding this topic. As we embark on this intellectual discussion, may I remind everyone that this is again a very formal discussion. We would like to keep the core room during this discussion. This is not a debate. Again, this is not a debate. This is a discussion, and then later on we will give you time to ask questions to God of Wisdom. So sit back and let's begin our quest for knowledge during the roundtable episode. So God of Wisdom, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. So before I commence my own TED Talk discussion on cosmology here on Roundtable, I would like to express my gratitude to the members of the Roundtable for organizing this event. Thank you very much, everyone. Allow me to introduce myself in a satirical manner. I am God of Wisdom, formerly known as Professor Ilu or the New Age Professor. I hold a doctorate in cosmology at Cambridge University, CAM spelled here as COME. And I previously worked at CERN in Switzerland, where the Large Hadron Collider Particle Accelerator is located. I have published numerous scientific papers on cosmology, which you can find on the website itdoesnotexist.com. And I have a selfie with Stephen Dawkins. Now, let's be serious. Let's address the topic for tonight's discussion. Does the universe have a beginning, or is it eternal? The idea that the universe had a beginning, or is eternal, has captivated humanity since the dawn of civilization. Many great intellectuals of the past, from Parmenides to Aristotle to Al-Ghazali, have attempted to address this profound question through philosophical inquiry. Al-Ghazali, for example, ancient Muslim theologian, laid the groundwork for the Kalam cosmological argument, which posits that everything that comes into existence must have a cause. This logical reasoning aligns with our intuitive understanding that anything that begins to exist requires a cause. Al-Ghazali asserted that since the universe had a beginning, it too must have a cause, which he identified as God. Ang pinaka-problem dito is inassert agad ni Ghazali na ang universe natin ay may beginning. Lagi ko nga natatakal sa live ko na mas lalakas ang paniniwala ng mga theist na may Diyos if mapapatunayan natin na may beginning ang universe. But even if may beginning ang universe, it does not equate to someone. Pwede pa ring something lang yung beginning. While the Kalam cosmological argument possesses its own inherent beauty, our current understanding of the universe has presented challenges to its foundation principles. For instance, the first law of thermodynamics stipulates that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only change from one form to another. Like how electrical energy converted into light energy when the filament inside the bulb heats up, releasing photons. The first law implies that energy itself is eternal, although the availability of usable energy is subject to the second law of thermodynamics, which involves the concept of entropy. Well, if you're not aware sa second law of thermodynamics, entropy is all about disorder, information, and usable energy. Kahit sabihin natin na energy is eternal, always existing, darating yung time na magiging less available and usable energy because entropy tends to increase over time. Nevertheless, based on our current knowledge, energy has always existed. It is always there. Even in seemingly empty space or vacuum, it is filled with energy originating from quantum fluctuations. Nature, it seems, abhors a vacuum, and true emptiness does not exist. Thus, the universe cannot arise from absolute nothingness or absolute emptiness because there is no such thing as emptiness and nothingness. Talking about nothingness, here comes the Big Bang. The Big Bang Theory does not say that the universe was created from nothing. This is one of the misconceptions. This is one of the many misconceptions about it. One common misunderstanding is that it's a theory for the beginning of the universe. We don't actually have a theory about the very beginning. Rather, the Big Bang explains the initial expansion of the universe. So, iwanan natin yung kaisipan na Big Bang is the beginning of the universe. It just means na nag-e-expand ang universe natin. Nothing less, nothing more. The correct interpretation of the Big Bang is that the universe expanded from its early state and underwent a gradual cosmic evolution, leading to the formation of all objects we see today. Another misunderstanding is that the Big Bang was a massive explosion, like boom. In reality, an explosion could not have occurred at the moment or time of the Big Bang because it requires certain ingredients such as oxygen, which was not present until approximately 2 billion years after the Big Bang. Therefore, the Big Bang should not be understood as an explosion or the creation of the universe. Instead, it marks the beginning of the universe's expansion, a marvelous event that occurred 13.8 billion years ago, according to our current understanding. Lastly, do not confuse Big Bang and the Big Bang model as Sean Carroll, a popular cosmologist, puts it. Big Bang just means that the universe is expanding. Big Bang model, on the other hand, talks about the cosmic evolution of the universe from the moment of the Big Bang. So don't confuse Big Bang and Big Bang theory or Big Bang model. Before we delve further into the topic, let's first explore the origin of the universe. Let's first explore the origin of the Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory was formulated by Georges Lemaitre, a Belgian Catholic priest who was also a physicist. Nag-originate siya sa general theory of relativity ni Einstein kung saan pinipredict na ang universe is either nagko-contract or nag-e-expand. However, during the early 20th century, ang paniniwala kasi ng mga physicists nung panahon na yon, ng mga philosopher, is ang universe natin static, hindi nag-e-expand, hindi nagko-contract. Pero since ang sinasabi ng general theory of relativity, kapag in-apply mo na sa universe, is pwedeng mag-expand, pwedeng mag-contract, ang ginawa ni Einstein, inintroduce niya yung cosmological constant na tinatawag para ma-maintain yung static universe. However, dahil sa na-discover ni Edwin Hubble na yung mga galaxies ay nag-move away from each other, niretract niya yung cosmological constant. I won't go into detail kung paano nalaman ni Edwin Hubble na ang universe ay nag-e-expand, pero ginamit niya yung method ng spectroscopy. Kumbaga, the study of how substances interact with light, and redshift, which refers to the shifting of light towards the red end of the color spectrum. The faster a galaxy is moving away, the more its light is redshifted. So sa mga naguguluhan sa redshift, you can think of this analogy. Imagine you're standing on the side of the road. Then biglang may dumaan na ambulance. The more na malapit sa yung ambulance, the more na tumataas yung pitch ng siren. Habang papalayo ang ambulance, nagdi-decrease ang pitch ng siren. So, ganun din yung mga objects sa outer space na malapit sa atin. Kapag ginamitan natin ng principle ng spectroscopy, they will appear blue, yung mga malalapit na objects sa atin. Yung malalayo naman, they will appear redder. That's why it's called redshift. So yung wavelength, yung spectrum nag-change to red. Nag-shift sa red. So after Hubble's confirmation of the expanding universe, we then discovered the cosmic microwave background. a radiation predicted by the Big Bang Theory that is present everywhere in the universe. To put it simply, we can imagine the Big Bang as the symphony and the CMB or cosmic microwave background as its echo. The CMB serves as the fingerprint of the Big Bang, the initial expansion of the universe. So ang detection ng CMB ay very accidental noong 1965. So merong dalawang radio astronomer, ang pangalan nila ay Penzias at Wilson. Na-detect nila yung signal, may na-detect silang kakaibang signal. Nung una akala nila galing to sa kalapate. So hindi nila masyadong pinansin. Pero after further analysis, lumalabas na yung signal na to ay present kahit saan ka man tumingin sa sky. Saan mang direction nandun yung radiation na yon, nandun yung signal na yon. Doon nila napag-alaman na ito palang radiation na ito ay imprint ng Big Bang. That's why tinawag nilang cosmic microwave background. We cannot deny the fact that the universe is expanding. Proven na yan na nag-e-expand talaga yung universe. Idiot lang yung magsasabi na ang universe ay hindi nag-e-expand. In 1999, astronomers discovered that not only is the universe expanding, but there is also acceleration in its expansion. So tinawag nila yung driving force sa accelerated expansion ng universe dark energy. To describe this mysterious force that drives the accelerated expansion of the universe. So remember, niretract ni Einstein yung cosmological constant sa kanyang equation ng general theory of relativity. Dahil napatunayan na ang universe ay nag-e-expand. Ngayon, minodify yung cosmological constant ni Einstein in the form of dark energy. So parang in-upgrade lang yung cosmological constant ni Einstein at tinawag na dark energy. Please note that the term dark here ay walang kinalaman sa mga devil or demons or anime-related connotation. Sa physics kasi, kapag sinabing dark, ibig sabihin hindi siya nag-i-interact sa electromagnetic field. Ang light kasi ay manifestation ng electromagnetic field. So dark matter is also not interacting with electromagnetic field. But we know it is there, yung dark matter. So again, don't confuse yourself ha. Pag sinabing dark energy, ito yung nagdadrive ng accelerated expansion ng universe. Pag sinabi namang dark matter, ang dark matter ay na-discover ni Vera Rubin. So si Vera Rubin, isa siyang astrophysicist. So, according kasi sa general theory of relativity ni Einstein, na the more na mas close ka sa center ng gravity, the more na mas mabilis yung orbital speed na tinatawag. This is the reason why Mercury has the highest orbital speed in our solar system, kasi ito yung pinakamalapit sa Sun eh. Kasi ang center ng gravity or ang pinakamalaking gravity na pinanggagalingan sa solar system natin is yung araw. So yun nga. So na-discover ni Vera Rubin na may mga star sa farthest region ng mga galaxy na na-maintain nila yung high orbital speed kahit hindi sila nakaposition malapit sa center ng gravity. Para bang may extra gravity. And then yun, ang tawag doon ay dark matter. Now going back, having discussed the history of the Big Bang Theory, we now understand that the correct interpretation is that the universe began to expand, rather than being created or coming into existence. From a scientific standpoint, we do not know if the universe had a beginning, or if it's eternal. It is possible that it's a combination of both with a cyclical nature. Instead of interpreting the Big Bang as the ultimate beginning of the universe, we can interpret it as the beginning of the cycle, but an eternal cycle. Noong 2003, naglabas ng theorem si Bordgut-Belinken na kung tawagin ay BGB o Bordgut-Belinken theorem. Yung theorem na to ay na-misinterpret ng mga Christian apologists like William Lane Craig na sinasabi daw nito na may ultimate beginning ang universe. Pero according mismo sa author ng theorem na yon na si Alan Guth, yung theory nilang tatlo ay hindi sinasabi na may beginning ang universe. It simply states na ang universe natin ay hindi pwedeng mag-expand forever. So darating yung time na titigil yung expansion ng universe. Yun yung minimi ng theory nila. So kung ano man mangyayari pag tigil ng expansion ng universe, it's a matter of speculation. Will the universe end in a heat death kung saan tataas yung entropy and mawawala ng usable energy sa universe? Or mag-e-end ba to sa tinatawag na big rip kung saan lahat ng matter ay maririp apart? Even yung planets, galaxies, lahat. And the universe will become a disintegrated system. However, this is not the only possibilities. According sa mga ibang cosmological theories, the universe may collapse or contract, known as the Big Crunch. And after the Big Crunch, pwede rin magkaroon ng Big Bounce, which is where the universe is being reborn like a phoenix. The Big Bang model, like many other theories, meron siyang loopholes. Meron tayong tinatawag na flatness problem, horizon problem, and monopole problem. Yung flatness problem na tinatawag, it refers to the fine-tuning of the initial conditions of the universe. Even a slight deviation would have had a significant effect on the universe's evolution. To illustrate this, imagine balancing a pencil perfectly upright on its tip. If the pencil tilts even slightly away from the vertical position, it will quickly fall over. Similarly, for the universe to be flat, its density must be very close to 1. So it is important to note that we're referring to the flatness of the universe on a cosmic scale. Walang kinalaman to sa mga flat earth, so wag kayong magsaya. Unfortunately, the Big Bang theory does not address the flatness problem. And we have the horizon problem, arises from the issue of uniform temperature in the mapping of cosmic microwave background. Yung regions kasi na extremely distant from each other, it appears na pare-pareho sila ng temperature. To illustrate this, imagine, may dalawang bote, no? Yung dalawang bote na yon, inilagay mo sa magkabilang room. Alright? And then, nung binalikan mo yung dalawang bote na yon, pareho sila ng temperature. Despite na nasa iba silang location, despite na nasa iba silang time frame, etc. So parang ganun yung nakita natin na horizon problem, no, sa Big Bang. So similarly, the radiation in the universe appears to be remarkably uniform kung saan hindi to ina-address or hindi kayang i-explain ng Big Bang model. Lastly, we have the monopole problem. Pinipredict ng Big Bang model na magkakaroon ng production of large number of heavy stable magnetic monopoles in the early universe. Pero ang problema, yung mga monopoles na to, wala pa tayong na-observe, wala pa tayong talagang evidence na meron ng monopoles. So isa pa yun sa problem ng Big Bang model. So again, Big Bang is tunay. Nag-e-expand ang universe natin. But I'm talking about the Big Bang model. Ito yung explanation ng evolution ng universe natin from the moment of the initial expansion. So don't confuse, As you can see, the Big Bang model presents several loopholes and problems. To address this issue, yung mga cosmologists nag-propose sila ng tinatawag na inflation theory, which suggests na may era of another expansion following the Big Bang. So di ba nag-Big Bang? After that, hindi pa yon, nagkaroon ulit ng another expansion, exponential expansion, para ma-explain nila yung tatlong problem na to, yung horizon, yung flatness, and then yung monopole. For example, ang sabi ng inflation theory, kaya wala tayong ma-detect na monopole, is that because dahil nagkaroon pa ng another expansion, yung mga monopoles na yon lumayo at hindi na kayang i-observe or hindi na kayang i-detect. So that's how they resolve yung mga problem about sa Big Bang. So parang inad na lang yung inflation theory sa Big Bang para maging maganda yung Big Bang model, para maging accurate. Ang problema lang sa inflation theory is hindi nag-a-align yung current observation natin ng universe sa inflation. May mga data from satellites such as WMAP, ACT, and Planck satellite na nagdi-disfavor sa prediction ng inflation theory. So ito yung mga problem about inflation theory. Pinipredict ng inflation theory na kung tunay ang inflation, dapat may makikitang inflaton field ang tawag, na hanggang ngayon ay hindi pa rin natin na-discover. Pinipredict din ng inflation theory na kung tunay ang inflation, dapat may primordial tensor. Okay, so God of Wisdom, ano ba yung primordial tensor? Ang primordial tensor ay gravitational waves o ripples, na nagmumula sa early inflation of the universe. Which is again, wala pa tayong na-observe na gravitational waves from the early inflation of the universe. Pwede ring ma-falsify ang inflation theory kung may madedetect na malaking amount ng graviton, particles ng gravity, kasi according sa inflation theory, ang graviton ay na-dilute through the process. Pero kung makakadetect tayo ng maraming particles na graviton sa early stages ng universe natin, it will definitely kill the idea of inflation theory. Ito ang dahilan kung bakit yung one of the founding fathers ng inflationary model, si Paul Steinhardt, ay inabandon niya ang inflation. Nag-develop siya ng bagong theory. Ang tawag niya dito ay cyclic model. So yung concept ng cyclic universe has been present in various philosophies and religion, including Buddhism, Hinduism, Stoicism. This is the reason why yung mga Buddhists walang concept ng creator or supreme God. How can there be a need for God if the universe can be reborn by its own? Kahit na yung German philosopher na si Nietzsche, whatever, entertained the idea of cyclic universe. Ang kay Nietzsche is eternal return. Yung idea niya ng eternal return, mahirap iswallow in a sense na eternal return does not only Eternal return does not only posit that the universe is cyclical, it also posits that the history repeats itself exactly the way it is, from smallest detail to the grandest events. This concept becomes plausible if the universe is truly deterministic, with space-time continuously recurring. Kung ang tatanungin nyo, naniniwala ba ako dito sa eternal return? Of course. It makes sense nga naman, di ba? Kung deterministic ang universe tapos cyclical ito, ang space-time ay cyclical, then there is a higher probability na maulit lang yung reality na nangyari dun sa previous cycle. Right? Kahit na yung small details, kahit na yung simpleng pagpunta mo sa CR, nangyari na yan sa previous cycle. The beauty of the cyclic model is that it provides answer to many scientific and philosophical questions, and it can be understood even by a kindergarten student. Many apologists are anxious, takot sila sa concept ng cyclic universe because it challenges the notion of God as the best explanation for the existence of the universe. In a cyclic model, the problem of unmoved mover or inertia can be resolved. Sa philosophical theology kasi, the problem of the unmoved mover posits that an object will remain at rest or in motion unless acted upon by an external force. So according to this argument, there must be a mover o external force na nag-set ng universe in motion. That mover must be unmoved para ma-avoid yung infinite regress. However, if we apply reasoning to this idea, then ano ang external force na nag-cause kay God to move or to create the universe? Kung sasabihin natin, well, si God kasi, He moved by himself without a mover. But if that's the case, then it implies movement, motion, action can be there without the need for a mover. So what's the problem of the universe being in motion without a mover? If motion can be there without a mover. Isa pa sa mga problem, was God in motion or at rest before the creation? Anong state ni God? Kasi pag sinabi mong at rest si God, then ano nga yung external force na nagpagalaw kay God? Pag sinabi mo namang in motion, then ano nga yung external force na nagpagalaw kay God? But kung sasabihin mo naman na motion can be there without a mover, then motion can be there without a mover. So what's the problem of the universe being in motion without a mover? Logic lang. How could a non-material being like God set the motion of material things? These questions raise doubts about the unmoved mover argument for God existence. Regarding the kind of cyclic universe that I subscribe, expansion and contraction are natural behaviors of the universe. The universe is never in a state of pure rest. Walang ganon. Ang universe ay laging in motion. Always expanding and contracting. Infinite regress is not a problem because there are no other entities aside from the universe itself. C. Ang problem dito that makes infinite regress illogical is magkakaroon kasi ng infinite set ng creator and creations as infinite cause and effect. Tsaka yung isa pang contention is kung cyclical daw ang universe, paano makakarating sa now? Kung infinitely cyclical daw or eternal cyclical ang universe, paano daw naman makakarating sa now? Yun yung problem ng infinite regress. Actually, time is heavily associated with information and memory. With information and memory, you can distinguish the past from the present. But sa concept kasi ng cyclic universe, and I want you to listen on this, every cycle, the information and the memory from the previous cycle is not carried over to the next cycle. Hence, in the universal perspective, wala tong concept ng past. Wala tong concept ng future. There is only eternal now of experience. The cyclical behavior of expansion and contraction are governed by two types of energy. Meron tayong gravity and meron tayong dark energy. So, one can visualize yung tug of war between gravity and dark energy. The cyclic model predicts that there will come a time in the future na hihina yung expansion or yung dark energy. And gravity will overpower the force of dark energy, leading to a transition from expansion to contraction. This transition can only occur if dark energy is not constant. Current observations of dark energy, we have the recent observation from DESI, kasi yung DESI, minap nila yung dark energy. Nakita nila na may deviation, na parang humihina yung dark energy. Ang maganda dito, isa to sa mga prediction ng cyclic model. Para maging totoo ang cyclic model, kailangan talaga humina ang dark energy kasi kailangang matalo ng contraction ng expansion. Ongoing studies in the near future will aim to confirm the accuracy of this mapping. So hindi pa kami nagse-celebrate kasi hindi pa siya like substantiated well. If proven true, it would raise questions about the fate of our universe, indicating a higher likelihood of the universe ending in a big crunch or contraction phase, and then followed by another big bang or expansion, creating the illusion of a grand beginning of the universe. There are two well-known philosophical interpretations of cyclic universe. Meron tayong tinatawag na aeon monism and aeon pluralism. So sa aeon monism, iisa lang ang universe, nag-expand, nagko-contract eternally. Sa aeon pluralism, iba't ibang universes ang nakikreate kada cycle. Yung version na aeon pluralism, yan yung sinusubscribe ni Roger Penrose na may sariling cyclic model. Although there are similarities between sa cyclic model ni Steinhardt and Penrose, may pagkakaiba din sila. For example, sa concept ng cyclic model ni Steinhardt, may concept ng contraction. Pero kay Penrose, walang concept ng contraction. Expansion lang ang meron. Titigil yung expansion and then lalamunin ng black hole lahat ng information, and since ang black hole ay hindi permanent, nag-evaporate din ng black hole, then ang matitira na lang ay photon. Since ang photon ay hindi nakaka-experience ng time, you cannot talk about time. So timeless yun. Right? So yun yung sinasabi ni Penrose na version niya. Kay Steinhardt, yung version niya involve yung decay ng scalar field na tinatawag. Ang Higgs field ay isang uri ng scalar field. Okay? Now, kay Penrose naman, ang version niya is all about connection ng cycle to the next through conformal transformation. So, nawawalan lang ng meaning. Yung version ni Penrose, nawawalan ng meaning yung time. Kasi nga, photon na lang yung natitira. And a photon, alam natin sa physics na it does not experience time. Walang concept ng time ang massless particle like photon. Hindi to hindi to sasakyan. Photon, particle of light. Regardless of these differences, both theories address the shortcomings of the Big Bang model. They offer explanations without requiring the presence of a God and a creator. They both address the problem of singularity. Sa mathematics kasi, kasi mathematician din ako. Kapag lumabas ang singularity sa equation, it is an indication na may problem sa equation mo. May kailangan kang baguhin or hindi pa absolute yung equation mo. Ibig sabihin, hindi na kaya ng current equation ng physics na i-describe yung nangyari. Kumbaga, nagko-collapse lahat ng mathematical equation and yung mga current understanding natin sa physics kapag lumabas yung singularity. So, ang singularity, kung may singularity man before the Big Bang, hindi natin alam. Isa pa lang tong hypothesis. We really don't know kung meron ba talagang singularity as physical entity, not just as mathematical entity. Sa cyclic model ni Steinhardt, hindi kailangan ng singularity kasi hindi nagko-contract ang universe sa singularity. Yun yung kagandahan doon kasi hindi siya namumroblema sa singularity. Kapag nagko-contract ang universe, it will only reach a finite size and then the expansion will happen again. Kay Roger Penrose naman, pagdating sa end ng cycle ng universe, ayun nga, na-explain ko na kanina na walang matitira na mass particles. Ang matitira lang is yung mga massless particles like photon. And since massless particles do not experience time, then wala kang time. You cannot talk about time, right? It's like a timeless experience. So, yeah, this is the way on how nila ina-avoid yung problem ng singularity. So, it could be interpreted as singularity kahit walang contraction yung kay Penrose, since measurement and time does not work anymore. Both Penrose and Steinhardt approach the cyclic model from a classical space-time relativity perspective. So mga bata, pag sinabing classical space-time, ito yung panahon kung saan wala pang pakialam ang mga tao sa quantum mechanics. Okay, doon pa lang tayo sa mababang layer ng reality natin. Wala pang understanding sa quantum mechanics. Additionally, both theories tackle the common objections to the cyclic model posed by the second law of thermodynamics. Isa sa mga ibinabato na problem sa cyclic model thermodynamics. Like, 'di ba ang entropy nag-i-increase? 'Di ba ang entropy in a closed system, nag-i-increase siya over time. So kung cyclical nga naman ang universe, dapat ang entropy padami ng padami, right? Dapat nakikiro over yung entropy from the previous cycle to another cycle. So paano ma-resolve to? Well, if the the entropy problem is easily resolved by black hole thermodynamics. So ano ba yung black hole thermodynamics? So black holes is proposed by Steinhardt and Penrose as vacuum cleaner. Ayan yung kagandahan sa black hole. Ina-absorb nila yung information including light. Kahit light hindi makatakas sa black hole. So since entropy is connected sa information, kung ang black hole ay kini-clean up ang information, the problem of entropy is no longer a concern. Kasi nire-reset ng black hole ang entropy. And since black hole lang ang matitira sa bago mag-contract ang universe, then it just makes sense. It just makes sense na resolve na yung problem ng entropy. Kasi nire-reset ng black hole ang entropy. That's why hindi siya naka-carry over sa next cycle. As simple as that. Ang interesting dito, according kay Hawking, ang black hole ay nag-i-evaporate, hindi permanent, so there would be nothing left aside from fields and massless particles that would trigger the next expansion. In Paul Steinhardt's cyclic model, gravity eventually overcomes the force of dark energy, leading to a slow and gradual pace of contraction. The energy from this contraction pace is then converted into the energy of expansion, initiating a new cycle of the Big Bang. So anong evidence natin na cyclical ang universe? Just as I said, scientifically wala pa tayong evidence about cyclical universe. Just as we do not have evidence for the ultimate beginning of the universe. Just as we don't have evidence for an eternal linear universe. Just as we don't have evidence for the existence of multiverse. May mga certain supporting theories or theorem naman na pwede nating gamitin supporting the idea of cyclic universe. Yung Bordgut-Balenkin theorem na nagsasabi na ang universe ay hindi pwedeng mag-expand forever, which is pinipredict ng cyclic universe. For cyclic universe to work, dapat lang talaga na darating yung time na hihinto yung expansion ng universe. And it will be followed by contraction phase. Yung current mapping ng DESI na nabanggit ko kanina na nagpapakita na humihina ang dark energy at hindi ito constant. Ang paniniwala kasi is constant ang dark energy. Well, lumalabas sa current observation natin na hindi. Nagdi-devolve or nag-i-evolve ang dark energy. Dynamic, fluid ang dark energy. So it's another prediction of cyclic model. If madetect man in the future ang mga predict ng inflation like inflation field, primordial tensor, it will surely disprove yung cyclic model na pinopose ni Steinhardt and Penrose. Kasi hindi nito tinatakil ang inflation. But not the entire concept of cyclic universe. Sabi nga ni Penrose, one could just modify a cyclic model kung saan ini-encapsulates nito yung idea ng inflation model. Philosophically, where is the imprint of that cyclic universe? If may claim ako na may isang bahay na may isang caretaker na all neat, all clean, germophobic na caretaker, and then nagpunta kayo sa bahay na yon, sa bakuran pa lang puno na ng kalat, puro tain ng hayop, mga patay na daga, mapapaisip kayo, well, nasan yung imprint ng all clean, all neat, germophobic na caretaker na to? Bakit hindi siya nagre-resonate sa bahay niya? Hindi siya nagre-resonate sa bakuran niya? Bakit ang dumi? Bakit parang hindi nagre-reflect yung attributes niya? So sa case ng cyclic universe, it may sound as if nag-a-appeal ako sa composition, but just look around you. From stars to orbital motion, to birth and death of a star, ecosystem, weather pattern, water cycle, life and death, everything literally, if not all, follows a cyclical pattern. Nakikita man ang imprint? Oo, sabi nga ni Eddie Boy. If you have a universe with a beginning, then you have the challenge to explain why it began and the conditions under which it began. But if you have a universe which is cyclic, eternal, you don't have to explain the beginning because there is no freaking beginning to begin with. So let's wrap up. Scientifically, philosophically, as we discuss, the universe is more likely to be eternal, cyclical, than to have an actual beginning. Its cyclical nature deceive us to jump on the conclusion that it has a beginning. A universe with beginning, if proven, would indicate the strength of cosmological argument, while the concept of eternal cyclic universe would literally slaughter the idea of God. Just imagine, if scientifically napatunayan natin in the future na cyclical ang universe at eternal to, there would literally be another Nietzsche saying the idea of God is not just dead, but will be buried eternally. Cyclic universe will massacre the fate of the idiots. Amen.
Thank you, God of Wisdom. I like that closing statement that you've had. Cyclic universe. As I've listened to you, God of Wisdom, there are certain points that really struck me with regards to the points of discussions that you have. And now I think this is the time that we will be accepting questions. Are you ready for the questions, God of Wisdom? Umiinom pa to, sure na.
So I have a 1 minute break.
Yan, break.
Medyo kapagod yung salita. Wait lang.
Okay, so we'll give you a 1 minute break. Okay? Okay. So may umakit na ba? Ang dami nagtatanong kanina. So akit na kayo.
Yeah, akit kayo sa mga nagtatanong, sa mga hindi naliwanagan. Bibigyan ko kayo ng photon kung hindi ako naliliwanagan.
Ako actually may question ako eh.
Ay sige, Boss Mark, go ahead.
Umpisahan ko na with regards dun sa description mo regarding dun sa vacuum, yung black hole. How would you define it on a very how would you dumb it down para maintindihan nila yung purpose nun?
Yeah. So, let me try to go back dun sa sa black hole. Kasi isa sa mga problem kasi, Boss Mac, sa cyclic model is yung problem ng entropy. Kasi entropy tends to increase over time.
Ano muna yung entropy para magets nila?
Disorder.
Disorder.
Disorder siya. Like yung disorder, parami siya ng parami yung disorder sa isang system over time. So, ang problem dyan, kung cyclic nga, then dapat, like yung entropy, parami ng parami, palaki ng palaki. So, like, magiging problem yan sa cyclic model. Right? Kasi nag-i-increase nga yung entropy. Now, ang ano doon is that, wait lang. Now, ang ano doon, Boss Mac, no, yung black hole, pinopose nila na yung black hole, vacuum cleaner sila. When we say vacuum cleaner, nire-reset nila yung information. Kasi di ba alam naman natin na ang black hole, kumakain sila ng information. Information, right? So, darating yung time kung saan magkakaroon ng mga supermassive black hole and then kakainin nito lahat ng mga stuff, lahat ng mga objects sa universe. And then, magiging vacuum cleaner talaga to, literally. And then, ang problema is that hindi naman eternal yung black hole, nag-evaporate din to. So, since nag-evaporate to, nire-reset nito yung information. So, since nire-reset ng black hole ang information, yung entropy, magiging low na ulit. So, magiging babalik ito sa original state, yung entropy.
Pero since hindi nga eternal yung black hole, pero nagkakaroon ng iba't ibang klase, ng iba't ibang black hole in certain period of time, tama?
Hindi eternal ang black hole. Yeah. Permanent, temporary lang ang black hole.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, God of Wisdom. Okay. So, Eustace, you're the first one. So,
go ahead, Eustace.
Hello, pwede pa explain ulit nung dark matter kasi gumamit kasi ng term na hindi ko naintindihan.
Yeah, so basically ang dark matter ay extra gravity. Kasi according kasi sa general theory of relativity ni Einstein, the more na mas malapit ka sa center ng gravity, the more na mas mabilis yung orbital speed mo, yung pag-orbit mo. Like for example, yung Mercury, malapit sa Sun, right? So mas mabilis yung orbital speed ng Mercury kumpara sa Venus and Earth. Now, na-detect ni Vera Rubin na sa mga farthest region ng galaxy, yung orbital speed ay constant. Ganun pa rin yung orbital speed. So ano yun? Parang may extra gravity na nagbibigay dun sa mga stars na yon or planets na magkaroon ng ma-maintain yung orbital speed. And yun yung tinatawag nila na dark matter. Nag-i-interact sa matter, kaso hindi siya nag-i-interact sa electromagnetic field. That's why dark matter ang tawag. Dark. Yeah.
Okay na. Pwede na kayo.
Extra gravity ang dark matter. Extra gravity.
Okay.
In layman's terms.
Okay. Thank you, Eustace. Cray.
Hello.
Hello na, iibahin ko lang ang tanong. Okay. 'Di ba kung wala ang sun, the color of the earth is black. And why does the color of the sky is blue?
Yeah, so base sa aking nalaman, hindi ako as atmospheric expert, no? Hindi ako expert sa atmosphere. But ni-research ko yan dati kasi may nagtanong sa akin. So sinasabi doon na kaya daw blue yung sky natin is because yung blue wavelength, yun yung na-scatter. Sa halip na red, sa halip na orange. 'Di ba? Alam natin yung color ng rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So kapag walang mga clouds or kapag kapag clear na clear yung sky, mas nag-scatter yung blue na wavelength. Yeah, tama yung sabi ni
To make it a precise question, why the sky is blue, why it is not red, why it is not yellow, why it's not green? Like
again, yun yung na-scatter sa atmosphere natin, yung blue, yung kulay na blue. Yun yung na-scatter.
So yung wavelength ng color.
do you have an other explanation towards that? Because hindi kasi siya klaro.
I think, Cray, the question is really far from the topic, no? So let's not ask that question.
Hindi ko klaro kasi like kung hindi mo naintindihan yung spectrum ng color, like 'di ba may white light tapos pag pinadaan mo sa prism, yung white light na yun nagma-manifest siya into 7 colors.
Okay, Steven, go ahead.
Hello. Ayan. Thank you sa pagpapakit. Hindi ko kasi naabutan yung simula. Tanong ko lang kung naniniwala ka sa soul. Kasi di ba yun ang pinaka-thoughts na, ano daw, sorry. Ay, hindi.
Saan?
Sa soul.
Soul.
Oh, hindi ko kasi naabutan kung na-discuss mo yun.
Hindi ko diniscuss ang soul.
Okay. Pero sa reincarnation naniniwala ka, di ba?
Yes, naniniwala ako sa
Hindi
reincarnation.
ko kasi naabutan yung part na yun. Paano siya nare-reconcile sa material universe yung reincarnation? Yun lang yung tanong ko. Salamat.
Parang lagi ng tanong. Sasagutin ko ba?
Hindi ko kasi naabutan yung simula. Hindi ko alam kung...
Hindi. Actually, hindi ko diniscuss ang reincarnation. Wala ko diniscuss na soul. Everything is science.
Sige, pababala na ako. Thank you. Salamat.
Pero pwede kong sabihin, pwede kong sagutin yun somehow. Paano ba na-reconcile yung reincarnation sa material universe? So basically, ang concept, ang philosophy ng reincarnation, ang idea ng reincarnation, kapag namatay ka, yung substance na nasa iyo, you can call it spirit, soul, depende sa kung anong religion meron ka, yun ay lumilipat sa panibagong vessel or panibagong physical na katawan. Yeah.
Sige, salamat. Pasensya na
No
kung
problem.
medyo malayo ka na.
No problem, Steven.
Okay, Ivan. Sir Ivan, go ahead.
Sir Ivan, what's up?
Oy, kamusta? Hello? Rinig ba ako?
Yeah, dinig ka.
Yan, naririnig ka.
Yan.
Yeah. Sir, good job pala. Napaka-informative nung talagang thorough and complete. And yeah, merong ang refreshing pakinggan ng mga ganang topic kasi bihira na lang natin i-discuss yung mga ganyan at that, di ba? Extensive. So, meron lang akong slight objection, parang pushback para sa mga TS friends natin. And as part of being na rin, agnostic, di ba? Dun sa last part lang na sinabi mo na if ever na mapoprove na natin or like some strong evidence na cyclical nga ang universe and all that, na in some way, mabebury mo yung idea ng God. And as part of yung agnosticism goes, hindi pa rin siya parang pasok dun sa ganung knowledge limit natin. Kasi kahit ma-prove natin na cyclical nga yung universe, at least yung deistic God, wala pa rin tayong way to rule out. Kasi pwedeng simulan niya yung singularity, mag-create siya ng singularity na nag-expand, nag-contract, eternal, cyclical, and all. Pero nandun pa rin yung deistic God. So, hindi pa rin natin mapuprove na nandun ba siya or wala talaga. I hope na nagigets mo yung agnostic point dun sa ganung view.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, agree ako dun sa mga arguments natin sa infinite regress, pagdating mismo dun sa specific na God discussion, if they exist or not. So, yun lang. And then another would be a suggestion kasi sobrang lawak ng topic na to, sobrang interesting. Bago ko siya matutunan lahat, ang dami kong pinanood na lectures and videos. Feeling ko yung PowerPoint or some presentation, makakatulong siya dun sa mga bagong listeners and viewers na walang idea dun sa mga steps. Kasi ang dami yun yung singularity problem, expansion,
Yeah.
creation, initial conditions. Parang ang ganda niya kapag merong mga resource like videos, PowerPoints, and all that. Especially yung flatness and curveness ng universe. Ang hirap i-imagine nun di ba? Through
Yeah.
listening lang.
That's why ginamit ako na lang ng analogy. Like yung sa pencil or...
Yeah, that's true. But overall, oh my gosh, para talagang lecture. Diba? Para ka nakikinig sa real professor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivan.
Thank you,
Ayan.
Ivan. From the real professor, let's go now to the fake professor.
Hi, Sir God of Wisdom.
Yeah. What's up, Big Frog?
Question lang. With regards dun sa although nabanggit mo to, pero hindi ko lang siya masyado ata na intindihan during nung in-explain mo. Yung problem natin with the cyclic universe is sobrang common, yung entropy. Paano siya nakikarry over yung entropy? Since alam natin yung entropy, hindi siya nagdi-decrease.
Yun nga, problem yun sa cyclic model. That's why yung mga cyclic model nung unang panahon, inabandon na nung wala pang understanding tayo ng black hole, nung wala pa tayong insight sa kung ano ba yung nature ng black hole. Kasi nung mga earliest time, may mga concept din ng cyclic model. Kaso inibando na yon kasi nga, nakikarry over kasi, di ba, like, kung cyclic model nga, right, yung entropy from the previous cycle, parang question, anong nangyayari doon? So, base sa current understanding nung time na yun is that yung entropy, dapat mapapasa yun sa next cycle. Mapapasa. Eh di ba ang entropy tends to increase over time. So dapat may beginning yung cyclic model na yon, right? May beginning at the same time dapat more disordered itong universe natin kumpara sa previous cycle. Yung parang yung sinasabi nila. Now, in-avoid yan, ginawa niya ng paraan ni Steinhardt at Penrose by proposing na ang black hole ay vacuum cleaner, kung saan nilalamo ng black hole ang information, and then since ang entropy ay highly connected sa information, then nire-reset ng black hole yung information. And so since nire-reset ng black hole ang information, therefore yung entropy bumabalik sa original state, yung entropy ng universe. Kasi according sa kanila, sa pareho sila nag-agree, na bago magkaroon ng contraction phase, magkakaroon muna ng mga supermassive black hole. Isang supermassive black hole lang ang kailangan para linisin lahat ng kalat sa universe.
Pero, sorry, pwede ba mag-clarify? O okay na yan?
Go ahead.
Pero with regards dun sa black hole, although tatawagin siyang, sige, take natin siya sa vacuum cleaner, hindi ba siya nagko-contradict sa Hawking's radiation? Since by first law of thermodynamics, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So yung nahihigop kasi ni black hole ng mga energy, nire-retransmit kasi nire-release niya yun as heat. So same pa rin sila, hindi pa rin siya nawawala totally.
Yeah, hindi siya nagko-contradict sa Hawking radiation. Kasi even if 'di ba yung black hole nag-evaporate sila through Hawking radiation, yung mga information na in-evaporate ng black hole na yon, na-reset na sila. Like alam mo yon, nawala na yung disordered sa kanila.
Pero the temperature ba stays the same pa rin ba o iba na siya?
I don't think it stays the same. It will like lower the temperature back to its original state.
Okay. So okay na yan. Thank you.
No problem. That's a good question Ayan, Boss Mac.
Okay, so Eugene, go ahead, please.
Ayun. Narinig ko lang na mention ni Ilo yung vacuum cleaner. Tanong ko lang, pag nilinis mo yung vacuum cleaner, ang tawag ba sa'yo vacuum cleaner? Ilan po, salamat.
Yeah, pwede mong tawagin yung sarili mo na vacuum cleaner.
Ang naglinis, sino ba ang naglilinis ng vacuum cleaner, Eugene?
Yung vacuum, yun nga po yung tanong ko, kung vacuum cleaner din tawag sa kanila.
Vacuum cleaner.
Kung vacuum cleaner lang yung tawag sa akin.
Okay po, salamat.
All right, any other questions?
Yeah,
Guys?
ito po sa mga magtatanong.
Piso, bigyan ng piso si RJ. Eugene. Okay. Okay, mukhang wala nang magtatanong. We can wrap it.
Any question?
Sure na ba?
Any question, guys? Walang yaman.
Ang yaman ni Ilu. So, ayan.
September, wala ka pang tanong?
Si September ay galing atang graduation.
Hindi mo sa tanong mo.
Okay. I think we are already at the tail end of our discussion. God of Wisdom, we don't have any other questions. Wala nang umakyat. And 3, 2, wala na talaga? Sure na?
Sarado na namin ang barko ni Noah.
We will be closing the discussion for tonight. Mabot tayo ng 1 oras, Ilu. Saktong-sakto. As we plan. Okay, thank you very much for those who listened and asked their questions during this first discussion that we have conducted on the round table. Okay, and thank you so much, God of Wisdom, for sharing your knowledge for discussing the topic about the beginning or being eternal of the universe. And
Yeah.
sana ulitin natin ito. Congratulations to you. And thank you so much. Ayan guys, maraming salamat and have a great evening. Bye-bye.